I think to survive abuse, a person shuts down all higher brain functions, and basic survival is fawn, comply, freeze, flight, or fight. This is the numb shock before the mass forms. I think the personality becomes damaged, and then the ability to trust locks up. This is like double abuse because to get help, you need that ability to trust. After it locks up, it becomes impossible to get help because there is no trust left. I call this the empty shell or ghost stage where I don't feel real to myself anymore, like I am a ghost now. I'm quoting here what Blessing sent to me. She is one of our friends here in this my channel, and the main point that I want to highlight here is when she says this is like double abuse because to get help you need that ability to trust. After it locks up, it becomes impossible to get help because there is no trust left. I call this the empty shell or ghost stage where I don't feel real to myself anymore, like I'm a ghost now. So here we have a paradox. The person that has been abused, the person has been growing in a codependency situation, cannot look for help because the trust element is not there. And the trust element is because this person, this abused person, has been internalizing the narrative of the abuser. And the narrative is always negating the feelings and the sensations and the perceptions of the abused. So, and that's called gaslighting. And gaslighting means that the abuser is always changing the logic of the events and of the participation on the events from the perspective of the abuser or from the side of the abuser and the abused. So the explanation of the abuse are always wrong and the explanation of the abusers are always right. So it becomes very problematic for the abused to understand what's going on because the abused has been socialized, programmed since the very early childhood into these beliefs. And of course, in order to feel well, he has to accept the situation because there are elements like shame, guilt, remorse, regret, and fear that they're gonna kick in and they're gonna make feel this person like really bad, like a traitor, like a liar, like a person who is not even recognizing the good things that the abuser have done for them. This part is weird, so everyone doesn't have this part. I also had mean people laughing at what was happening to me. They call it bystander effect when strangers laugh at a crying person instead of help them. So I developed a response to distrust, laughter with suspicion. Laughter and giggling is supposed to be a good thing, about happiness. But mocking, sneering, cackling is horrible and cruel. So I actually get tense when people laugh because I'm not sure if they are being normal or being mean. It is kind of like a flashback response when I am triggered to be ready for cruelty by going into tough mode. I'm expecting trouble and gear up for a fight instead of being calm and relaxed. Joking is not funny anymore, like a second guessing of what do you really mean when you said blah blah. Like, hey, you want some bubblegum? Isn't really a question about bubblegum and is some kind of trick question to lure me into a vulnerable predicament, like a paranoia, I guess. It could mean it's what you really ask. Sure, you were offering to share bubblegum, so I panic about the 10 things never said and fail to focus on the questions actually asked. It is hard to focus on deciding if I want to say yes or not when I lack the trust to believe you ask about bubblegum. Actually wanting an answer about bubblegum, I think they are having hidden meaning that has nothing to do with the stupid bubblegum. So I joke about, hey look, I blew the bubblegum bubble and popped it all over my nose. Isn't funny anymore because they might be trying to say something else. So, communication and social skills are difficult a lot. I type better, it is more safe than actually talking. Typing online is not scary. I have control because I can turn off the website when I want to. I don't have to answer if I don't want to. So I like it better because it's much easier. I'm supposed to live in the moment instead of think about the past 4,683 times a day. It is a process. So if we use the metaphor to compare physical wounds with emotional wounds, the physical wound is an exteriority. It's part of your body. It's not part of your mind. It of course can be part of your mind, but when, for example, when you lose an arm and you feel the arm like a ghost arm, okay, that's psychological too. But in the case of an emotional wound, you are socialized, making you believe that it's normal to be like that. And since this happens in our most tender age, we have no other ways that to figure out if this is right or wrong. If we, on top of that, we add the fact that naturally kids believe their parents because they are their main sources of security, main sources of identity, main sources of who they're supposed to be, and they don't have any distrust on them because, like a bird with their birdies. The birdies expect to be fed by the big birds or by the both parents, and they don't expect that they're gonna poison them. They don't expect that the bird gonna eat their heads off instead of giving them food or make them feel that they are not birds but that they are insects. So that's the connection. The person who grows into a dysfunctional family, the dysfunctional family sense is so pervasive because it's enclosed in a house, so you live there, you eat, you sleep, you make sense of things. You grow up in an environment that is poisoned, and you accept that poison as medicine. And of course, at the end of the day, you won't be able to distinguish one thing to the other. And of course, you're going to be very sick, but you're going to take that illness as if you were fine. So your illness going to become your normality. And you're going to assume that if you cannot run properly, this is a metaphor, run properly or seeing properly or acting properly, that it's because that's the way you are. Not because that's the way you were socialized or the way you were programmed by these people when you were so little that you didn't have any other options, any other perspective. Finally, if we have lack of trust, we basically are enclosed, we are inside of our minds, and we are always fearful. So if we are fearful and we are isolated and we live from these ideas, they are preconceived and they are projections basically of a reality that has been abusive. The next step that you're going to have, or we're going to have, it's like difficulty to feel love or to give ourselves to someone else, because how are we going to do that if our foundational experience of love, of tenderness, of security has been re-narrated, has been portrayed in a way that is completely opposite to what it's supposed to be. So if you didn't have a nest where you were worshipped and validated and loved according your nature of weakness, and you need a strong figure in order to keep you alive and to give you wings to fly and to be happy and strong in the future. If you didn't have that, basically you're gonna set up for the second best, and that means that you're gonna accept a reality that is twisted, that is not correct, that is self-destructive, and you won't be able to develop the beauty of yourself that is there waiting for you, experiences this reality of life that is unique. We don't have any other chance to see this universe but incarnated the way we are, because if we are not incarnated, if this thing happens and exists, we're going to see different ways the universe, but not in this material form, and we won't be able to feel this touching and this sensuality and smell and colors and flavors and everything else. So this experience is unique, and if we don't take full consciousness and advantage of this experience of being alive, it's terribly sad, really terrible sad, because we are, if reincarnation doesn't exist, basically we won't have any opportunity to enjoy, to appreciate, to connect with this incredible universe that we are in.